There's rarely a day goes by without the royal family making headlines, and a new book about the Duchess of Sussex is providing plenty more.
Well, royal biographer Andrew Morton's book, Meghan, A Hollywood Princess, is out later this month, and he's let us have a sneak peek between its pages.
Well, Andrew joins us now, live from his home in California. Morning, Andrew.
Morning.
Lovely to talk to you. Thank you for joining us today. I suppose we'd better start by saying, how many times have you met Meghan?
Well, I've not. I've met her family and friends and those people who've worked with her. And it's, in a funny kind of way, Pasadena was Meghan Central, because people who went to school with her, it's where she was homecoming queen. An awful lot of people around here see her as the local girl made good.
And so this book here, this is kind of an update to the Meghan biography that you wrote back in 2018. So why is this the right time for an update now, do you think?
Well, I mean, so much has happened. Two babies, a wedding, a funeral, and a new life in a new world. So most paperbacks have got very little to say. This has got an extra 30,000 words to say an awful lot.
And have you spoken to her friends about this? Has she given you some sort of quiet permission to write this?
No, I think this is an independent project looking at her life with Prince Harry, her life inside the royal family, and trying to take it step by step as to why they left, when they left, and to try and understand her as a human being. So I was a fan of hers when she was on Suits, way before Harry. Yeah. And I always thought she'd make a great comedy actress. I never thought that she'd end up as a member of the royal family. So
just to clarify here, with a book like this, and it is fascinating, that you haven't spoken to her friends, you haven't spoken to her, so there's no been sort of quiet backdoor briefing here. I mean, the stories are things that we've sort of read in the papers. How much more substance can you give to what you're actually saying? How do you know what you're saying is true?
Well, I mean, I've been speaking to people who, in relation to stories which appear in the book. I mean, it's people who knew Meghan before she joined the royal family, and have watched her with an eye to see how she's made progress over the last few years. Her former teachers, her school friends, and so on.
So let's have a look at some of the revelations, some of the new bits that are added. Now, we knew that there was this sort of alleged row over the bridesmaids' dresses between Meghan and Kate. And then we saw the Oprah interview where Meghan said it was actually Kate that had made her cry and not the other way around, which had previously been reported. But there's something in your book that talks about this bracelet. Yes, I mean,
after the dust had settled on the wedding, Meghan gave a gold bracelet out to all the people who had helped her, one of whom was Kate. So that was a kind of a peace offering. And I think both women are mature and sensible enough to realise that to have dueling duchesses headlines was of no benefit to either of them. And they were both professional and kissed and made up.
And you also say that you believe that Harry and Meghan thought the entire institution was conspiring against them.
Well, it seems to me that Harry did feel that what you might call the men in grey, as Diana used to call them, the suits, were quite hostile. And he took umbrage, for example, when the hairdresser arrived from New York for a fitting for the tiara, and the tiara wasn't available, and he threw a bit of a fit. And it was Meghan who got it in the neck as Duchess difficult.
And do you think that's the sort of, is that your overriding feeling here, that she's being portrayed as Duchess difficult and actually she's a bit of an easy target? I mean, you've said before that the reporting of her, the kind of viciousness that goes with that, needs addressing somewhat.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you look down through the years, every royal princess or duchess is the one that takes the flak. I mean, Fergie got the flak early on in her marriage. Diana was called a fiend and a monster after she'd been in the royal family for about 18 months or so. So it is the case that it's the woman who gets the blame, and you can take it down to Adam and Eve. So there's a kind of a primal guilt here going on.
You claim that in the book Diana is the third wheel in the couple's marriage. You say the ghost of Diana, Princess of Wales, loomed large over the lives of Harry and Meghan. Not a day went by without a reference, a memory, or perhaps more importantly, a decision relating to Harry's beloved mother. How do you know that?
Well, I mean, Harry said so. I mean, when you look at their decision making, it's been to protect Meghan's safety and security. It's to protect Archie and Lilibet, and so Harry himself has said that that's been his priority. And one of the reasons why they decided to leave the royal family was because they didn't feel that their children were going to get the kind of protection that they needed. So they moved to California, where they do have protection that they pay for themselves.
It seems that people have an issue with the idea of somebody being a member of the royal family and also leading a celebrity lifestyle, being a celebrity, coming from celebrity. But this isn't the first time that we've seen this.
Well, no, you've got Grace Kelly, who became Princess Grace of Monaco, and she eased into that role effortlessly. You've got Sarah Butler, a Texan academic who married a Prince of Jordan, who works for the UN and is now a princess. But obviously, with the House of Windsor, it's a much bigger deal, and I think that people have struggled with having somebody who's an activist, progressive, someone who is articulate and knows their own mind, coming into an institution which tends to bring people in and mould them to its own devices.
Your Diana book, of course, the media sensation was incredibly successful. You've another one here. You're quite obviously, you appear to be pro-Meghan. So are you anti the firm?
No, I'm trying to understand Meghan, and as a human being, how did she relate to the firm? In many respects, the firm is far more malleable, far more accommodating than it ever was in the past. I think the days of the hunting, shooting, fishing set, occupying positions as private secretaries and so on, is now gone. But it was, what is interesting, it's a clash of the new world versus the old world.
Just finally, Andrew, do you think she knew what she was getting into here? There seems to be an element of naivety when, I mean, she was writing inspiring messages on bananas to sex workers. There was the delay in the publishing of the picture of her first baby, when you think that's what everybody wanted, that's sort of what we come to expect. You hold this position, so therefore you've got to give us something back. Did she think that she could shape it and realise that she couldn't?
I don't think, I mean, as she said herself, she didn't read the tabloids, she didn't watch TMZ. She learned what she learned about the royal family from Harry. Now, Harry himself was quite jaded with the royal family even before this. So she's had a very rambunctious education into the royal world. She has had members of the household give her advice and so on. And she's a quick study, but even so, I think it takes many years for somebody to accommodate themselves into the royal family, and these two didn't give it very long at all.
Thank you for being here and talking about this. This is the book, The Update, Andrew Morton, Meghan, a Hollywood Princess. Good to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.